I'm Steven. That's John. We're from Just Got Played, and we are counting down MrX's top 25 games of all time. So this is 2022, which means it's the 7th annual version of this list. Essentially, what I've done is gone out and asked several people for their top 50 games of all time lists. I aggregated those using an algorithm and made this top 25. If you want to know more about that, go back to our first video that we recorded, put out on December 1st, the number 25 video. You can learn more about that there. But today, we're going to talk about number 13 on the list for December 13th, and that is Camel Up. So Camel Up is a game of chaos, and it is a betting game. So on your turn, you have just so many choices of what you can do. You can bet on which whether or not you think a camel is going to finish, first or last in the current sort of leg of the race or in the race overall. So you've got those choices. You can put out things that sort of mess with the camels as they move around the board. And how do the camels move? Well, there's dice in this pyramid. So one of the things you can do is you can decide that I'm going to roll a die out of the pyramids. At least in the original version, you shake it and turn it over and hit a thing and a die comes out and then a camel moves. And so why is that chaotic? Well, because the camels stack with each other. So if the orange camel is on top of a stack and the blue camel's on the bottom and the blue camel moves, he'll carry that orange camel with it when it moves, right? And maybe the green is in the middle. And so the green starts moving. It carries the orange with it, but the blue is left behind, right? And so you get this sort of chaos in the movement of the camels. And you're actually incentivized to take your turn to move the camels along because it gives you a point when you do that. So, there's this incentive to I want to get in my bet early because you get more points for getting your bet in early about what camels, going to finish first or whatever. But then at the same time, you also want the camels to move so you have more information and you get points for making them move, and it just plays out over several different legs. And then finally, when they get around the full circuit and one of the camels gets across the finish line, then that's the end of the game. So it's high player count. I have the Super Cup expansion, which takes it to 7, maybe 8 players. I don't know. There's a second edition of this game where they took some of the components from the Super Cup expansion and included it with the base game. I'm not sure. The second edition may only go to 6 players, though. I'm not sure, actually, offhand. That's the version that you can get now. And either version is good. I mean, either version basically plays out about like how I said. There's a few differences, and there's things about partnerships and other stuff at higher player counts that you can use. So that is basically betting on camels racing around in a circle, carrying each other, totally chaos. In fact, now I want to find a stack of camels using some AI to generate an image. I'm going to ask an AI what a stack of camels looks like. I'll let you know. Anyway, John, what do you think about this game?
Great game. It's another game just like Cult Express where it's possible to treat it like a strategy game, but if you do, you're not going to really find the fun in it. It's a fun, crazy, hectic betting game. Usually whenever they re-implement a game, I prefer having the original version of it. But in this, I would recommend the second edition because, like you said, it includes the handshake, which really makes higher player counts more palatable. It includes the crazy camels, which I would never play this game without. And essentially what that is it's a black and white camel. There's a black one and a white one. And they're running the race backwards. And they can accidentally scoop up camels and move them back towards the starting line. And it really embodies what I love about this game, which is the random chaos of it. And you're just throwing bets down and trying to see who's going to win and who's going to lose and all that good stuff. So great game. Treat it like a party game. Have fun with it. The new edition does include several extra things, so I would absolutely get that. But it's one of those games that whenever it hits the table, it never misses. Every time I've played this, everybody's enjoyed themselves, and I would heartily recommend it.
Yeah, I agree. This is a staple at my game night at my house when we have a high player count. Not only because, like you said, it's fun at high player counts, but also because it's super easy to teach, right? Mm-hmm. There's just a few things you can do on your turn. So, the fun in the game is in the chaos of who decides to roll the dice when and how they come out. And sort of the, I don't know, it's not even necessarily a meta, but how people bet, on the different camels, right? And that's just going to change from game to game, from group to group. But yeah, teaching is easy, and playing at a high player count is smooth and fun. So that is why I have Camel Up on my shelf, and why it's one of my, it's in my top 100. I don't know exactly where, but obviously some other people that I surveyed for this list agreed that Camel Up is a really good game, which is why it landed at number 13 on this list. So speaking of this list, a reminder that we're running a contest for December. So this MrX top 25 games of all time, all these different videos. All you have to do to enter this one contest is leave a comment on each one of the videos. So in this case, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about Camel Up. Tell me if you have any opinion on the difference between, the first version and the second edition. If you haven't played Camel Up, you don't have an opinion on Camel Up, why don't you tell me what your favorite betting game of all time is? Or tell me, your favorite Egyptian themed game. I don't know. Seems like these camels might be running around the desert somewhere. I'll just guess Egypt, right? So, but anyway, that is number 13. Join us tomorrow, December 14th, for number 12 on the list. But until then, I'm Steven. That's John. We're with Just Got Played, and thanks for joining us.